We did the present continuous tense, and we also did the simple present tense. And now we are moving on to the present perfect tense. I know that you have some kind of understanding, or you may have learned the present perfect tense. But here I'm going to point out very important places. The total context where we can actually use the present perfect tense correctly in conversational, both in conversational and written English. So when it comes to the present perfect tense, initially we should understand the pattern, the structural formation. When it comes to the pattern, of course, we should understand we do have to use either has to have to be the helping verb according to the subject. Then the ordinary verb is used in the present participle form. You know, whatever the verb we take, each and every verb has three major forms. First one is the base form. Second one is the simple past form. Third is the past participle form. You can see them on the screen here. There are few examples. Look at the first example. Go, went, gone. Go, went, gone. The three, you know that each and every verb generally has 5 forms. But these are the three major forms. Go, went, gone. Go, went, gone. The three major forms are different from each other. Come, came, come. The first and the third are the same, but the second is different. Sometimes, you know, put. Sometimes the three major forms are the same. So when you just look at the first three examples, you can understand they do not have a particular form. They do not have a particular pattern when forming the three major forms. But look at the last two examples. Count, counted, counted, invite, invited, invited. All the time, the second and the third are the same, ended from ed. So we consider them to be regular verbs. The first three examples are irregular verbs. Irregular verbs don't have a particular pattern in forming the three major forms. But when it comes to regular verbs, all the time, the simple past form and the past participle form are the same. But we don't get them mixed because all the time we tend to understand the verb simply looking at the helping verb associated the verb. So here you find the three aspects of the base form. So from these three forms, we use the third form, the past participle form, after using either has to have put into the subject. You know that with singular subject, we use has to be the helping verb, then the ordinary verb is used in the past participle form. And with singular subjects, we use has, and the ordinary verb is again used in the same form, past participle. Thereafter, we should understand the practical setting, the context, the environment, where we can correctly use the present perfect tense. So, we use the present perfect tense to talk about completed actions, of which results are experiential or available at present. This is the general setting, general context, general practical environment, where we use the present perfect tense. The action is already complete. The action is already finished. But the results, but the outcome can be seen. We can experience the outcome. The result is always prevalent or available at present. But if you compare with our language, you might think that this is to be sort of past tense. But even though the action is completed, we see the result at present. Now you see that the class has started. The class is a one unit. The teacher, students, everything together, we consider class, collective noun, the class. Then it is singular. The class, not classes. So when placing the class to be the subject, we consider it to be singular, one unit. So we have to place the verb in the singular form. So we use has, not have. The class has started. The verb is start and it is used in the past participle form after using has. The class has started now. When you say the class has started, the action is starting. The action is commencing, starting. It is finished and gone to the past. The action is finished. But we can see the result. The class is in progress now. The class is going on now. So this is actually sort of immediate past where we can experience the result. Now, a passers-by would say the class has started because he can see the class is in progress. So the class is going on. So when going for negative, whenever we want to turn the idea negative, we connect negative with either has or have, as they are helping verbs. But I think you can remember when using either has or have to be the main verb, we cannot directly connect negative with them. But here, of course, you can see those two become helping verbs here in the simple present perfect tense. As they are helping verbs, we can directly connect negative with them. The class hasn't started. When you say that he has his lunch, He usually has his lunch at 1 o'clock. That is simple present. There you use has to be the main verb. There you cannot say that he hasn't his lunch at 1 o'clock every day. There you do have to separate the helping verb does out of the verb. He has, he doesn't have. Again, you can say that they have meetings in this hall. Simple present. Every Sunday, they have meetings in this hall. So that is simple present. There we talk things in general. So when making ideas negative of that type, we tend to say, we just use, they don't have meetings in this hall. They don't usually have meetings in this hall. So, but here, in the present perfect, of course, we use either has to have to be the helping verb. Therefore, we can say hasn't haven't. Here, hasn't haven't is something natural. Has the class started? If somebody raises a question using the present perfect, like, oh, has the class started? What does it mean? It means, is the class going on now? Is the class in progress now? So we can take a few more examples. By, bought, bought, the three major forms of the verb finished, finished, finished. We don't pronounce it like finished, but instead finished, finished. We end pronouncing from from T, finished. We bought buy, bought, we bought a new house. By using present perfect tense. When you say we bought, oh, we have bought. We bought, oh, we have bought a new house. You mean that you finished buying. There is nothing to buy again. The action is buying. It is finished and gone to the past. It is finished and gone to the past. Now you possess a new house. Now you possess a new house. Now you own a new house. A new house belongs to you now. And now you are holding a newspaper. I'm interested in reading. I just want to know whether you have finished with it or not. Then I would ask by using the present perfect tense, have you finished reading the newspaper? Have you finished reading the newspaper? If you have finished reading, I can have it for reading. Have you finished reading the newspaper? When you just look at this example, you can see when using two verbs together, we use the second verb in gerund form with ing. Stop writing, started talking, likewise. When we place two verbs together, the second becomes gerund or the present participle ended from ing. So here, have finished is the verb, you is the subject, reading is the object. A verb can be made a noun, simply by having ing. Then we call, grammatically we call it a gerund. Kriya noun. So when you turn a verb into a noun, simply having ing at the end, you can either make it a subject or an object. I'll show you a few examples. Teaching is learning. Now, teaching is the subject, is the verb, learning is the object. So this is an example where we use gerund. You can say learning English is very easy. Coming to your place is not very difficult. Collecting stamps, riding bicycles are my hobbies. Okay, now you see that it is too late to lock the stable after the horse has left. It is too late to lock the stable after the horse has left. So when you just look at these, when you take these type of sayings of the language, we can see the function of the tense. And the practical setting where we can simply come up using the pattern. Who has never tasted bitter knows not what is sweet. Who has never tasted bitter doesn't know what is sweet. The cow knows not what her tail is worth until she has lost it. අරකට නැට්ටේ වටිනාකම තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ, ඒක නැති වෙනකම්. We don't know the value as long as the thing is with us. But once we lost it, only we understand the value of thing that we had. Right? A few more examples. It has stopped raining, we can go now. It has stopped raining, we can go now. Now you can see that you can compare the idea along with Sinhala translation. So when you just look at the Sinhala translation, if you think that it is not the proper way of telling it, as far as your way of learning concerned, you can discuss, you can point out. දැන් සිංහල එකත් එක්කත් බලන්න ඒකේ වැරද්දක් තියෙනවා නම් අපිට ඩිස්කස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. And I'm looking for Nima. දැන් මේ වාක්‍ය මම දුන්නාම සමහර අය translate කරනවා I am searching Nima, finding. Because when Sinhala sentences are given to translate, they try to translate word by word, looking at our language. Most of the time, many students don't try to translate the idea. When given sentences of Sinhala, without translating word by word, we have to get the total idea of the sentence and convert that or put that idea into English. Even though you fabricate word by word, matching with our language, looking at our language. All the time we cannot make the correct sense out of that. I'm looking for Nima. Have you seen him? Now you see that you want to collect the key from Nima. So you just want to know where he is right now. Where he is right now. So you ask from somebody else. I'm looking for Nima. Have you seen him? Some people might say that, did you see? That is not correct. Did you see him is not correct here. Now you can see the difference. Did you see him? Simple past. Did you see him means, do you know where he was? Have you seen him means, do you know where he is? Where he is. Yes, there you can ask any questions, right? While anytime you can stop me and raise your question so that we can correctly comprehend. Now I can show you an example, right? So I think right now you see that you can see that I have a pen, right? You can see a pen in my hand. Showing this pen, I would say I lost this pen last week. Showing this pen, I would say I lost this pen last week. But now you can see the pen is with me in my hand at the moment. But I am talking something that happened last week. I lost this pen last week. I found this only this morning. I found this only this morning. Right? There I use the simple past tense. When I show this pen to you, I use the simple past tense. I lost this pen last week. I found this only this morning. I use the simple past tense, and the pen is with me. The lost pen is with me right now. Because I am talking something that happened in the past. And that is where we use the past, simple past. We use the simple past tense to talk about finished actions in the past. But we use the present perfect. The action is finished, but we can see the result. Now I would say that, oh, I have lost my pen. I have lost my pen. I touch my pocket. I can't feel the pen there. And I just look here and there. I can't see my pen, which was with me a few minutes ago. Then I would ask you, have you seen my pen? Have you, by using present perfect, I ask, oh, have you seen my pen? I have lost it. When I say that I have lost it by using present perfect, I mean that it is not with me right now. So likewise, without comparing, sometimes without comparing with our language, we have to understand the correct setting where we can just use the pattern. Now we've been talking about the present perfect. Take another example. Now I placed the key on the table. I kept the key of the door on the table, but it is not there. And I want to open the door. I ask you, have you seen the key? Have you seen the key? I want to open the door. Have you seen the key? The idea is, do you know where the key is right now? Whether it is in the drawer or whether it is somewhere else. Likewise, I just want to know whether you know where it is now. So likewise, we have to understand the present perfect, where we can correctly use it. So we must not mix the present perfect tense along with the simple past tense. Sometimes we may mix it up. There we have to be a bit more careful. There we have to understand the impact that we do have with present when using the present perfect tense. Again, we will turn to the presentation. Now, likewise, you can take a list of verbs where you find the verb in the three different forms of this type with their major forms: write, wrote, written. Now you can say that I have written the article. I have written the essay. You can see it now. Right? I have written the essay. I have written the article. I have written the assignment. I have done the assignment. I have written the assignment. Then you say that you have finished it. Anybody can see it if they are interested. And I imagine that I gave you a few example sentences and asked you to translate. Then you say, I have finished translating. Or I have translated my sentences. When you say that I have translated all the sentences, the action is translating. The action is translating. It is finished and gone to the past. I can see your translation now. I can see what you have translated. I can see the translated idea, sentences. The action is finished. The result is available. We can see the result right now. And you can say that, oh, I have now understood the lesson. That means now you are aware of the things taught. Fall, fell, fall. Right? When you imagine that when you just look at the well, you see a coconut in the well. Then what would you say? You would say with somebody else, a coconut has fallen into the well. By using present perfect, you would say, a coconut has fallen into the well. There the action is falling. It is finished and gone to the past. The action is finished, but you can see the result. You can see the fallen coconut in the well. Simply looking at the fallen coconut which is in the well, by using present perfect, you would say, a coconut has fallen into the well. There you can very simply understand the function, general function of the present perfect tense. And cook. Now we can say, oh, my mother has cooked lunch. It means lunch is ready. Now you can have it. Yes, there you can question me if you want. Lay the table. මේසට කෑම අරිනවා කියන්නේ lay the table. She has laid the table. මේසට කෑම යවනවා. Well, you cannot say she has sent food. She has sent the food to the table. That is not correct. So simply looking at our language, you cannot make correct English idea according. වචන දිහා බලලා එහෙම හැම වෙලාවෙම සිංහල වචන translate කරාට ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් නෑ. Lay the table. She has laid the table. We have shop in this market. We have shop in this market. මේ market එකේ අපි shopping කරලා තියෙනවා. And you can remember. You have worn a good t-shirt. Now I see that you are in a good t-shirt. Then I would say by using present perfect, oh, you have worn a good t-shirt. You really look well. You really look very nice in this t-shirt. දැන් මගේ ඇඟිල්ල කැපිලා ලියන්න බෑ. When given a sentence of this type in singular, මගේ ඇඟිල්ල කැපිලා ලියන්න බෑ. මගේ ඇඟිල්ල කැපිලා. My finger has cut. කියලා කියන්න යා. You can't make your finger the subject because your finger itself doesn't get cut by mistake or whatever way. It happens being you being the subject. Maybe mistakenly cutting your finger would happen you being the subject, not the finger. I have cut my finger. The other thing, the meaning that we take. දැන් අපි හිතනවා cut කියන එකේ තේරුම කපනවා කියලා. Actually, each and every verb has the same meaning is found in different aspect. The meaning of the same verb is found in different aspect. That is, in grammar we identify the difference to be transitive and intransitive. Most of the time, those who memorize the meanings of words are not aware of this significance or this type of difference, which is very important to understand. When memorizing words, a lot of people don't heed it, consider it. ගොඩක් අය මේ ක්‍රියාපදයේ ස්වරූප දෙකක් තියෙනවා තේරුමේ. එකම තේරුමේ ස්වරූප දෙකක් තියෙනවා ඒක දන්නේ. දැන් cut කියන එක කපනවා කැපෙනවා. I'll show you a few examples. පරදි විදියට වචන පාඩම්. උකට අර ක්‍රියාවේ මේ ස්වරූප දෙක අහුවෙන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් cut කියන එක ගත්තාම it has two different meanings. We cut vegetables with a knife. Right? Here you get the meaning kapanawa in single. We cut vegetables with a knife. අපි එළවලු කපන්නේ පීයකින්. . අපි මේක අනිත් තේරුම කිව්වොත් කැපෙනවා කියන අර්ථයට ගත්තොත් this knife isn't cutting well. මේ පීය හොඳට කැපෙන්නේ intransitive. The first one transitive meaning, cut is used with a transitive meaning. In the second example, cut is used to be intransitive. කර්මයක් නොගන්නා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඉබේ වෙනවා. කැපෙනවා කියන්නේ. ඒතර මේ හැම ක්‍රියාවක් ඇතුළේ මෙහෙම දෙකක් වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. කපනවා කැපෙනවා ලියනවා ලියවෙනවා. දැන් අපි කියනවා I write. See, we will take very simple example. I write with the pen. I write with the pen. Right? මේ පෑන හොඳට ලියවෙන්නේ. This pen isn't writing properly. This pen isn't writing properly. හරියට ලියවෙන්නේ intransitive. දැන් වාගේ මේක ලියවෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා දුන්නාම තේ වචනේ මොකද්ද කියලා වාචනයක් වෙනවා. We are not used to this sometimes. දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් we sell computers. Then you can simply say we sell computers. Right? We sell computers. Yes, Kithsiri Tero.
Sir,
Yeah.
Can we use this pen isn't writing well?
Yeah, you can use. Yeah, instead of properly, you can use well. Correct.
Okay.
And we sell computers. විකුණනවා. දැන් අද හැමදේම මුදලට විකිනෙනවා කිව්වොත් අන්න කල්පනා කරමු. කොහොමද විකිනෙනවා කියන්නේ? දැන් අපි ඉංග්‍රීසි අමාරු කරගන්න ඔන්න ඔය වගේ සරල දේවල්. මේ වෙනස අපි හිතන්නේ. ඒ ගැන හිතන්න පුරුදු නැහැ. ඒතර අපි ඒකට වෙන වචනයක් හොයන්න යනවා. That is the place where we stuck. Whenever we want to converse, we get stuck. This is the place where you get stuck. You tend to find a different word for intransitive. හැම දෙයක්ම උදලට විකිනෙනවා. Everything is selling today. ඒක simple නමුත් කියාගන්න බෑ. That is because that is because due to the inappropriate way that we approach the language. That is because due to non-conducive way that we approach the language. So we have to understand even in a particular meaning, it has two different aspects. That is also a matter to be concerned. I have lost my key. Have you seen it? I have lost my key. Have you seen it? By using present perfect, when you say that I have lost my key, the idea that you can have out of that is, I can't find my key right now. I don't have it with me right now. It is missing. The key is not with me right now. I haven't got it right now. It is not with me right now. I lost it. It is missing at the moment. Have you seen it? Do you know where it is? Did you see it? ඊයේ දැක්කද කියන එක නෙවෙයි අහන්නේ. දැන් වෙන උදාහරණයක් ගත්තොත් right එතකොට යතුරක් පෙන්නගෙන මම කියනවා මේ යතුරක් පෙන්නගෙන මම කියනවා මේ යතුර පෙන්නගෙන simply showing the key. I would say I lost this key yesterday. I lost this key yesterday. I found it only this morning. Right? You can use the simple past tense even having the key with you right now. But you can't do it when using the present perfect. Right? You say, oh, I have lost my key. Then the key is not with you right now. You are looking for it. So, you want to get it as it is not with you right now. So, we have to correctly understand the slight differences between the present perfect and the simple past tense. We cannot use the simple past tense in place of the present perfect. We use these two tenses in two different backgrounds, two different settings. Right? once again, උදේට වළඳලා ඉන්නේ. 8ට විතර කියනවා 7:00ට වළඳලා 8ට 8:00 9 වෙනකොට කියනවා I have had my breakfast. When you say that I have had my breakfast by using present perfect, you mean that your tummy is full right now. Then I never talk having breakfast with you, because you have sorted out breakfast, the issue of breakfast. The program has started. The program has started. By using present perfect, when you say the program has started, you mean the program is in progress now. It's going on now. We are not talking something that happened in the past. Now I just asked, have you brought the book to the class? When I raise that question by using the present perfect, I mean, is the book with you right now? When you say that, yes, I have brought. When you say that I have brought the book to the class, the action is bringing. It is finished and gone to the past. But the result, having book with you right now. Now somebody has broken the window. Simply looking at the broken window, you can say, oh, somebody has broken the window. The window is broken right now. You can see the result. The action is breaking, it is finished. You don't know when it happened even. But you can notice the result. You can see the broken window. Simply looking at the broken window, you can say the window is broken. So we have to take very simple examples when so that we can make clear the patterns related to different tenses. If you take very long juicy sentences, of course, you might find it a bit difficult to understand sometimes. Now you see that now we will take another example, right? When you entered the classroom last week, the classroom didn't look good because it was not painted last week. But when you entered the classroom today, you see the walls look new. The whole classroom looks very new. It is colors. So you ask, oh, they have painted the classroom. Oh, simply looking at the result, looking at the painted walls, colorless walls, you would say, oh, they have painted the classroom. Oh, they have painted the classroom. The action is paint. It's finished and gone to the past, but you can see the result. You have worn a nice dress. That means you are in a nice dress now. Have they come to the class? Mean that are they at class? Actually, there are a lot of features related to the present perfect that we have to understand. Now, up to now, we just discussed the general setting, general practical environment setting background, where we can use the present perfect. Thereafter, we have to understand the other related features. There are a few important kind of features, things that we need to make clear in terms of the present, with regard to the present perfect tense. So now onwards, we move on to understand those different practical aspects. දැන් අපි මෙතනින් දැන් ඔය තේරුම් ගත්තේ ටෙන්ස් එකේ මූලික පසුබිම. දැන් මෙතන ඉඳලා තමයි වැදගත් එකේ. මෙතනින් ඉස්සරහට I don't think that we can finish the lesson today itself, but we will it will take another day. But you know, anyway, we may not be able to conduct the class next week. The next Friday is 30th. So we are going to start our residential program. 30th, there we can meet. I think most of you will join. You know that actually we can impart only a very little knowledge by way of conducting virtual programs of this type. We cannot go for practical kind of things, activities, so that we can put our knowledge into practice. When at workshops, we actually can learn a lot of things. We can see selected parts of films, presentations, dialogues by native speakers, different types of activities, so that we can improve our conversational English. We can enjoy music. Actually, there are very important linguistic exercises, activities, with which we can improve our communicative language, conversational competency. So I think you all will join with those programs. වහලට කැමති නම් තව කවුරු හරි සම්බන්ධ කරන්න පුළුවන් ඒ නාරද ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේට නම ලබා දුන්න නගර උන්වහන්සේ තමයි සංවිධානය කරන්නේ. පණ්ඩුපිටිය දෙවුරම් වෙහෙරේ net එකේ ගිහුවම location එක හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. දන්නේ නැත්නම් we can share the location with the group people. If you, I think it will be actually very great experience. You can enjoy the 3 days. Everything provided free of charge except the material. So you need to purchase the material if you need, otherwise food and lodging, the entire course, everything is free. But if you want, we introduce very important sort of materials. Those who find it very difficult, of course, we can donate a few, but not printing is rather costly today. So now we can talk about these adverbs, but I just introduced, but I don't think that we have to move on to the other part of the lesson, where we can improve our vocabulary related to Buddhist teaching. And just already yet, these are adverbs of time. These are adverbs of time. An adverb of time tells us or gives sort of idea regarding the time of the action happening. We basically use an adverb of time before the main verb. The placement is also very important. When learning the simple present tense also, we discuss a few adverbs which we use in with that particular pattern. And when it comes to the present perfect, we find these adverbs are profusely used. Just already here. Just mean a short time ago. Already means before you expected. Yet means until now. Now, actually, we go for practical sessions. You know why? What you hear, you forget. What you hear, you forget. ඇහෙන දේ අමතක වෙනවා. දේශන වලින් 30ක් විතර තමයි මතකයේ රැඳෙන්නේ. උපරිම රැඳුණා. The maximum degree that you can remember by listening, maybe 30%. But it doesn't mean that everybody remember 30%. Maybe less than that, most probably. What you see, you just remember. But if you see something with your eyes, you just remember. That's මතකයේ යම් ප්‍රමාණයකට රැඳෙනවා. What you do, you understand. If you do something practically, if you get involved in doing something practically, you understand. Now imagine that somebody will teach you. An architect may teach you how to build a house. He will show you the plan, structural plan, the reinforcement, the rubber work. He will show you, he will tell you the quantity of build, the amount of the quantity of material that you need to use there. So step by step, he will teach you the constructing part, how you can build the house. Then you can get some sort of idea regarding the construction, or regarding building a house. But if you get involved in constructing a house yourself, you go to Pradeshiya Sabha, just to get the plan approved, and you visit different hardwares just to check the prices of materials, and you talk to relevant contractors, masons, carpenters, and you work with them. When you fully involved in building a house, you yourself clearly comprehend, properly understand the total process, where you find it difficult, where people cheat, where you lose things, where you can make profits. You learn a lot. You practically understand, rather than listening to an architect describing you the process of building a house. So you have to understand. That's why we invite you to join workshops. You can practically understand the function of the language, different aspects of the language. The other thing, you know, that if you want to get into water, if you want to learn swimming, you have to get into water. Without getting to water, you can never learn swimming. You can do virtual courses so that you can learn that particular subject. Likewise, there are certain things that we cannot do, a lot of activities that we cannot show you and convince you, make you understand. We cannot impart very comprehensive knowledge, practical knowledge. So we must get together. And there's a saying in Das Capital, you must get together. By getting together, you lose nothing. But by being separated, you achieve nothing. Now, උදකලාව ආත්මාර්ථකාමීව යන ගමන ඇතුලේ ලබාගත හැකි දෙයක් නැහැ. එතකොට දැන් the class has just started. Now you can see just is used before the main word. The class has just started. We will continue this part, I think, next week. Now we should start talking about some Pali verses, stanzas, Pali quotes, so that we can improve related vocabulary. හිතවත් කවුරු හරි තවත් ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේලා ඉන්නවා නම් you can ask them to join. එහෙම සම්බන්ධ කරගන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට එතන ඊට පහසුකම් තියෙනවා තවත් කීපනමකට. මේ වාර්ෂික වැඩසටහන. අද ලබන සතිය අපිට මේ ක්ලාස් එක මේ ක්ලාස් එක කන්ටිනියු කරන්න වෙන්නේ. අපි මේ වැඩසටහනේ ඉන්න නිසා you know, Dhammapada is a versified sayings of the Buddha. It's very popular handbook of all the Buddhists all over the world. So we will discuss few verses from Dhammapada. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. To salute the Buddha, to respect the Buddha, to venerate the Buddha, we initially start whatever the program telling this part. Namo tassa sometimes all of the else. We recite this veneration to Buddha 3 times before we start any sort of program. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The reverence to him, the fortunate one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened Supreme Buddha, I worship. We, whatever it may be, we start saluting the Buddha, honorary respecting the Supreme Enlightened One, the Buddha, by collectively reciting the term Namaskar. The first verse that we find in Dhammapada is Mano Kubbangama Dhamma Mano Settha Manomaya Manasache Paduttena Bahasativa Tarotiva Tatonang Sukhamanveti Tatonang Dukkhamanveti Chakkanga Vahatupada. Mano Kubbangama Dhamma. Mind precedes thoughts. Mind leads thoughts. The leading part when it comes to thoughts is done by the mind. Mano Kubbangama. All thoughts, or mental constructions, or mental formations, so generally we call thoughts. Mind proceeds, mind leads in generating or initiating thoughts. Mano Setta, mind is the chief, mind is greater in the process of mental phenomena. Dhamma. Or in the thought process, mind becomes the chief. Their quality is made by mind. Manomaya. Everything is made by mind. Now when you go to Colombo, you see very big high rises, condominiums, very big constructions. Everything was in one's mind. ඔය හැම දෙයක්ම කාගේ හිතේ තිබ්බ කලින්. The total human culture, the total human civilization was thoughts by man. Manasache paduttena basativa karotiva. If somebody does something with evil mind, if with a base mind one speaks or acts, you know, base mind means the natural mind, the general type of mind, the way that you think. If somebody acts or speaks or act with evil mind, impure mind, manasache padutte. If one acts, if one speaks with evil mind, bad mind, impure mind, basativa karotiya. Tatonang dukkhamanvi. Through that process, suffering follows. The negative impacts follow. The evil consequences follows. Like a wheel follows the ox foot. Mano Kubbangama. Mano Kubbangama Dhamma Mano Setta Mano. Manasache pasannena bahasativa karotiva tatonang sukhamanveti chayava anapai. Yes. Vano Bubbanga Madam. Mind precedes thoughts. Mind is their chief. Their quality is made by mind. Manasate pasannena basativa karotiva. If one speaks or acts, if you speak, if you act with pure mind, with wholesome mind, with good mind, good intention, tatunang sukhamanveti, chayavan pai. Through that thought process, through that mental initiative, happiness follows you. Like the shadow that does not depart. Wherever light is available, your shadow doesn't depart you. But we have to understand, even a shadow is not with us when we are in the darkness. When we are in the darkness of ignorance, even the shadow will leave us. අපි මෝහය නැමැති අන්ධකාරයේ හිටියොත් අපි ළඟ නිතර ඉන්න එවනැල්ලක් අපිට නැහැ. ඒක නිකන් අදහසක් මෙතෙන්ට ගන්නේ. තතෝනං සුඛවන්නේ. Now you actually the metaphors, similes, examples used by Buddha actually are of great value. Now you can see the evil consequences follow just like the wheel follows the foot of the cow or the ox or the bull. So it's a burden because it is noisy and it's a burden. You see that? A very unpleasant, heavy, a bitter experience following you. But Buddha uses the wheel of the car because it can be removed. Angulimala did it. He was born again. He removed the cart. He removed the wheel of mundane impact, where you get mundane or worldly impact. Removed that part by doing away the existence. But the positive impact of deeds, the better results, they are deeply connected with the life. That's why Chayavan pai. It is not harmful. When the time permits, the better results will come into play. So that they will give you positive outcome, good results, comforts, all agreeables. When we take, I can share these wordings with the group, so right with you. All mental phenomena have mind as their forerunner. This is how we find, you know, that there are different translations. You can surf the net and find all different types of translations. All mental phenomena have mind as their forerunner. Sometimes forerunner translated like progenitor. Progenitor. All mental phenomena have mind as their progenitor. They have mind as their chief. They are mind-made, manomaya. If one speaks or acts with an evil mind, bad mind, impure mind, dukkha, suffering follows. Unpleasant experiences, bad consequences follow him. Just as the wheel follows the hoof print of the ox. Gunagi kura, pasupasa rode, that draws the cart. So sometimes we can call predecessors in place of progeny. Manasa here means intention or volition, chetana. Sukhang, sukha. In this context, sukha is usually translated, sukhang or sukha is usually translated in English, satisfactory, fortune, agreeable feelings, pleasant experiences. And rebirths are the three upper planes of a happy experience. Rebirth are the three upper planes. Ihalatala, upper planes, Ihalatala, Bhavatala. Rebirth occurs on the upper planes of a happy existence. Manusya Divya Brahma. And the story related with the Pali verse that we discussed. You know that Chakkupalatera, he wanted to pay homage to the Buddha. He wanted to pay his reverence to the Buddha. So once he visited Jetwanarama, he came the other day. So anyway, I can't remember in the morning or in the night time. He did some walking. Maybe it was a rainy day. There were a lot of kind creatures on the floor. The Thera stepped on tiny creatures, which caused their death. And this was noticed by the other monks, and they complained the Buddha. Then the Buddha asked, "Did you see him stepping on?" Then the monks answered negative. "Did you see the Chakkupalatera stepping on?" They answered negative. Then the Buddha said, "Chetanaham bhikkave kammam vada." So if you do something intentionally, you get the consequences out of that. If you do something on purpose, if you do something intentionally, only you get the consequences. Then only you reap the fruits of consequences. Otherwise, the unintentional actions don't bear fruits of consequences, either negative or positive. So we have to understand there this kind of teaching, 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 was elaborated by the Buddha, taking this incident into account. So I think you can discuss after discussing the Pali verse, Manokubbangama Dhamma, you can discuss this particular story related with the stanza. And here you find another translation. All mental phenomena have mind as their forerunner. They have mind as their chief. The mind may different speak. If one speaks or acts with pure mind, happiness, Sukha follows him like a shadow that never leaves him. The other one. Dukkha in this context, dukkha means suffering, or physical or mental pain, misfortune, unsatisfactory, evil consequences. And rebirth occurs in the lower planes of existence. පහළ භවතලවල උත්පත්තිය සිද්ධ වෙනවා. The concept of karma is a main teaching in Buddhism. Whatever the action it may be that you perform, the consequences, positive or negative, the result, or the fruits of the performance bounce back upon you, follows you. So one cannot say that the fruits of the action would give you or come into play immediately. You know that when you plant a tree, you can't get the fruits immediately. Likewise, sometimes the consequences may get late. When everything conducive, get formed so that you can bear the result. You will experience the outcome of your own performances. The story of Matta Kundali related with that. While residing at Jetavana Monastery in Savatthi, the Buddha uttered this particular verse, which is in Dhammapada, with reverence to Matta Kundali, a young Brahmin. You know that Matta Kundali's father, Adinna Bubbaka, he was a very stingy fellow, miserly fellow. He never gave anything on charity. He didn't have the spirit of sharing and caring. Though he had a lot of wealth, he wanted to, as a custom or customarily, he wanted to make, he wanted to have an ornament for his child, but he didn't buy even that ornament. He made it himself, as it was a clan rituals, family rituals, because he wanted to make any payment for the workmanship. So he himself hammered into a gold coin and made a hole, put a thread in between, and make a necklace out of that. That's how he did. That's how he saved money. Then we can understand how stingy he was, how miserly he was. And when his son fell ill, he didn't want to get a physician or doctor. to consult his only son who was ill. Because finally he wanted to consult when the situation got worsened. He wanted to consult a doctor. Then he thought that if they come inside the house, they might see my wealth, and kept the patient outside the house in the veranda. So that's how he acted. And this is the context where the Buddha preached this verse. So I think you are quite aware about the story than me. So you can using different terms. I think you can use it. The Buddha arising early from his deep meditation of compassion, Mahakaruna Samapatti Avadiyana. Then Buddha think whom he should help, and then he can see this situation of Mata Kundali lying on the veranda, and Buddha approached there. When entering Savatthi for alms with his disciples, the Buddha stood near the door of the Brahmin Adinna Pubbaka. The child was kept looking at the inside of the house, so the whole side. Even though Buddha came, the Mata Kundali couldn't see the Buddha. So it is said that Buddha sent forth a ray of light to attract the attention of the youth and profess his faith mentally, and develop sort of conducive mental setting to be his last thought, so that the Buddha can support his next verse to be very good one, healthy one. Then in the story it is told that he got the birth in Tawatinsa celestial world. Tawatinsa celestial world. So this is the story related with the second stanza. So we can narrate this after elaborating the Pali verse that we discussed at the beginning. So I think you can use this vocabulary when talking about these issues. So I think we are running out of time. Before winding up, Venerable Thera, do you have any questions to be raised? So again, I invite you to join our workshop. If you have any other friend, I think you can take in your friends as well there. Yeah, Thera, do you have any questions? Or shall we wind up here? We are not meeting next week.